lending today. We have some interesting statistics, although I will say that they are staying somewhat consistent this spring. So it may sound like things aren't changing, but if you ask Dan, interest rates are going up. And have gone up. So, right, Dan?
Yes. I'm thinking with my track record, if I predict higher interest rates, we should see a turning point any moment.
Yeah, Dan doesn't have a good track record. He's been trying to predict this downturn in interest rates for about a year, and he's been wrong every time, actually. And so we're gonna try to avoid predicting what interest rates.
We're not going to predict. I'm in the job of predicting 5 of the last 1 recessions right now. So, anyways.
So, anyway, thanks for joining us, you guys. Hi, Anita. Hi, James. Okay, so Dan, how was your week?
It was great.
Yeah?
It was a great week.
Cool.
Yes. Yeah, we had a terrific week.
Did you get some loans?
Yes, we got some loans. We got some
loans
closed.
And
you know what? I got to. Since you're asking me, I got to talk to you about one of these loans that closed. Right, just closed today. I mean, I don't know, an hour ago, something like that. Yeah, and it was fantastic because it's a ground up construction that we got done for the builder, right? And so I kind of want to talk about this, if you don't mind me.
Sure. Now, is this the one where he started that he's just starting to build it, or is this one that's completed and it went to a new buyer?
No, this is one where it's ground up. He bought the property, the plot of land up in Arlington, and he's going to build it out. He's got all the plans ready to go. I mean, he's a builder, right? So he's a contractor. He's got all the plans ready to go. Everything's done. Everything's got approved, and he's going to build it and list it when he's done building it. So how long does that take? 7-8 months, something like that, to build a house, something like that.
Yep.
So he's building at a perfect time because the market needs supply. I know the timing could be a little bit better when we look at the Cat Howard chart of when you should buy intra-year.
Intra-year appreciation from January to June shows that in Snohomish County, we get an extra 9.7% annually between January and June in appreciation just for those months. For those of you that like to time the market.
Yes. So I just want, I did have to throw that in there. The timing could have been a little bit better, but there's a lot of work that, you have to get done. And so we got everything done. All of it's taken care of, ready to go. Funding signed today, funding tomorrow. Everybody's happy. And but the reason I mention this, is that for folks that are out there in a difficult situation in this market, because sometimes the market, you don't find what you're looking for. Prices have gone up. You get priced out of the market sometimes. It happens, right?
Yes.
And new construction can be a pretty good alternative if, the thing is, you've got 2 ways to go about it. Okay. You can go about it if you're the ultimate owner and you wanted to take responsibility for yourself, to just basically do all the construction under your name, and then you hire out contractor.
So as an owner of a parcel, you could act as the general contractor and then save a little bit of money and do your own new build, essentially, is what you're saying.
Well, you can't act as your own general contractor. No.
Okay, right.
No, but you can hire one,
gotcha.
And so you'll work with your general contractor.
So so let me get this straight. So you as the landowner would hire a contractor to build the house that you want on your lot.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
And what you'd be doing is you put together a construction budget. You gather the plans and all that kind of stuff. And generally speaking, you pay for the plans ahead of time, so there is some cash out of pocket for that. I mean, those plans can run you, easily $35,000 to $50,000, $60,000. For some of those architectural plans and everything, and you got the elevations in. I mean, it depends on the project, but they're not cheap. So you got to consider that, but you end up with the exact house that you're looking for, right? I mean, that's really important. The other way to do it is you have a piece of land and then you have the contractor go out and buy it and have the contractor build on it and have the contract, and then you have you have a predetermined price ahead of time,
So the
right?
builder is actually selling a parcel with a house on it,
That's
right?
right. I mean, they build it out for you. I mean, the builder
And
is building it out in his own name, right?
yes,
As
so so sometimes they're in process, like in a plat situation, but also they will go off and do like a spec home here and there, like you see once
Mhm.
in a while on Camino. There'll be one or two new constructions side by side, and a lot of times a builder will just bought those lots, those 2 or 3 lots,
Right.
and just started a home on them, and then listed them on the market and tried to secure a buyer before they were finished. Is essentially the other way you're talking about doing it, right?
That's correct. Or just, as they get finished, they're putting it on, and if it's busy enough, then they can, they can sell it and then move forward, So, but it's an interesting niche right now to be looking at construction loans because the market is tight. I think the numbers we're going to go into moving forward today, they're still tight, which just blows my mind, but it is what it is. I'm not here to argue
It
with
hasn't
the
improved,
it
even
has
as interest rates have sneaked up a little bit the last couple of weeks. The market doesn't seem to be improving for buyers, which I want to say I'm disappointed about, because I am, even though I have a few sellers coming up getting ready to list their homes on the market. I want the market to stay strong for them, but I'm also representing some buyers out there, and I like to see it a little bit more balanced for both parties.
yeah. It's
Just
I mean,
easier to navigate.
it is, and the fact of the matter is it's a tight market, and it just is what it is. If you're looking for a house, this is what you're facing right now, and you can try to put as much shine on it as you want, but that's the bottom line. So you got to do the best you can. But we also, what I kind of want to move to the next topic that we're going to talk about here in a bit, because
Can I throw a little tidbit in?
you betcha.
I wanted to talk about what I did today, guys. I never do that. I forget to do that. So
Oh, let's talk about it. Yes.
today, my client Eric decided he wanted to see a home up in Marysville, and it was listed, let's just say, in the 5s or 6s. We got there; it looked like a really solidly built home, fairly attractive for the age of the house. I had a good roof, but it really was dated on the interior quite significantly, and not a lot had been done. So a little bit of remodeling here and there, but for the most part, it looked like just a really solid house on a really nice flat, large lot. So the lot itself was spectacular in that it felt very private when you were in the house relative to the other homes around. It almost felt like you back in a green belt. So it was like that. It had RV parking. You could pull through the fence and pull your RV or your toys into the backyard. All kinds of good stuff for Eric, but in the end, it really did need a lot of remodeling to bring it up to snuff. So he did decide to pass on it, but just after he called me and said, I think I'm going to wait for a different one. I said, yeah, no, I think we can do a little bit better for your situation. And I got an email from the listing agent. I tried calling her while we were at the house just to see if she had multiple offers, because she did go and set an offer review date for tomorrow, a couple of days after she listed it. And so we had been toying with whether we wanted to submit on that one or not. And as it turns out, she got an early offer, bully offer, or otherwise known as a compelling offer. And so they're calling for all offers today. So anyway, but that's kind of what it's like out there in the market. They may have set an offer review date. The seller may have seen some activity. I know they had maybe 3 or 4 showings yesterday afternoon. I looked. We could tell on showing time. And that's good activity for a Sunday afternoon, right? So now, it used to be in 2022, you had to have 20, 30 people through in a day for it to be a really good, solid showing day. Today, if you can get 5 showings in a day, you're good. You're doing good. So, 10 or 12 showings through the weekend would surely produce probably more than 1 or 2 offers on a solidly built house in a nice neighborhood. It's all flat in there. So really
Yeah.
super walkable. Just a nice area. So, but anyway, that's just kind of, I just wanted to put out there, that's what it's like out there. You may, it may not be offer review day, and you may get that email from the agent saying, hey, listen, all offers are due today because we got that compelling offer. And compelling offers can come the day after they list the house, the first day they go on the market, or they can show up the day before the offer review date. And that compelling offer needs to be good enough to ask the seller to remove it from the opportunity to get more than one offer, right, from that offer review date. But, if they don't have a lot of other promises of other offers coming in, it can be good advice from their agent to go ahead and take a look at that compelling offer seriously, because that compelling offer goes away on the offer review.
Right.
Unless another offer shows up, and then you're selling for full price. So take those compelling offers seriously, sellers. There's no guarantee you're getting multiple offers. So anyway, I'm going to close my drapery here a little bit, my blinds, because I'm getting reflection in my glasses, and I figured out this little trick here. So I'm going to do that really quick so I don't keep getting, hopefully that stops the glare. Okay, there we go. That should do it. Hopefully that worked. All right. So anyway, that's my little story for today.
Well, it's interesting because all the, both stories that we told has one kind of thread that runs through both of them. And the thread is we have a tight market, right? I mean, that's just the fact of the market and fact of the matter. And so, do you want to go through the stats first, or do you want to go through the buy before you sell first? Which one would you
Let's go
prefer?
through the stats. Let's go through the stats first. Let's get the numbers out there so
Good.
people can kind of hear what's happening. Like I said, it's not a whole lot of change from previous weeks, but I think showing the market at a sustained pace has value.
Yep,
So
it sure does.
it's becoming, it feels a bit like it's a little more predictable this spring as opposed to the last two springs. In 2022, it just kept getting worse and worse as far as for buyers. We got to the point where we're 90 something percent of sellers under contract in the first 7 days, which, is kind of a crazy situation. So we don't really want to see that again. But, right now we're in a market where in the first 7 days, we've got about 60% of sellers getting under contract within the first 7 days. And that's a pretty solid, bull market for the real estate world.
Yeah, it is.
Things are going up consistently.
I will. You know what I think? If markets ever do, if we get the rates to actually do come back down, then I think eventually, someday, hopefully someday in the year 2024, they do start heading back down. But that being the case, it might just be a smoother flow of business going through the rest of the year, because if we have a deferment, which we're going to get, which we're obviously getting, as far as rates being cut, that's being pushed back towards the second half of the year.
Yeah.
It won't be as crazy, but it'll still be very productive right now. From a realtor point of view, a lender point of view, it's not as crazy because we both go through our own level of craziness when you have these multiple offers and it's very competitive and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just going to turn out to be for the best. And
I have to tell you, Dan, I think I would feel better if they just didn't change interest rates. I've been of the mindset since 2022 that we did too much too fast. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's my small perception from my point of view.
Right.
Being a realtor working in where I work and what I do, it feels a little knee jerk to me. It could have been done more gracefully, I feel like. And so for me, this feels a lot better just leaving it alone. I'd like to see the interest rates stay where they are. We all have an opportunity to refinance down the road. It doesn't have to be this year. I think we stabilize the real estate market. I think really that's number one.
Yeah.
Not over the economy, guys, but in my mind. I'd like to see the real estate market, just stabilize.
And I think that's
it doesn't have to be 0% appreciation, but I just like it to calm down where we're not having these wild swings.
Right. That
and
makes
this,
sense. Yeah.
and an upward trajectory that is unprecedented. 22%. We're up 22% in King County. Come on, since December. That's too much.
Oh, that's a
It's
big
just
number.
painful. I'm sorry, you guys. I can't. That's just too much.
Yeah.
It's and then we're probably going to see some of that come back down. So now you have people horribly overpaying, and it could take a couple of years to absorb that. So I really like to see things calm down a little. I don't know. Let me know if you guys agree with that. I feel like I'm the Lone Ranger out here. Well, I think everybody wants interest rates to come down, and that sounds ideal. But I think I'd like to take a middle of the road approach and just leave everything alone. I'm tired of, our economy reacting to these wild moves,
right,
by the Fed. So it feels good to kind of leave things alone. I like it.
Well, I tell you what. On that note, with those strong numbers you're talking about, do you want to lead off with Snohomish, King?
No, I like to lead off with King. I always
King.
start with King, Dan. You guys watch me. I start with King. He's always messing with me. You messing with me, Dan. Okay. King County, 0.7 months supply of inventory. Like I just said, King County up 22%. That's insane. Average sales price since December 2023. 4 months.
Wow, 22% in 4 months. Huh.
I can't. That's the average sales price. Yeah. So we've got 971 listings currently on the market in King County. That's single family detached, not new construction, and not on leased land, right? Not attached, not condos. So 64% of sellers in King County set offer review dates. 62% of sellers got into contract within the first 7 days if they listed their home between March 31st and April 6th in King County.
Boy, you were go ahead. I'm sorry.
74% of sellers in King County got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed their home between March 17th and March 30th. So King County is still, clicking along pretty much at the same pace they were, right? Last week it was 75%. This week it's 74% for getting under contract within the first 2 weeks. What that means is that for buyers, you've got 25% of the sellers you can go negotiate with. So that's the flip side. I was trying to tell my client Eric that today. I was like, the good, it sounds bad. It really is a seller's market out there, but they're not all selling in the first 2 weeks. And so you do have those ones that don't sell, that hopefully don't have the inherent challenges that are not okay with you, that hopefully you can go negotiate with somebody. So.
Well, those are still some very, very strong numbers for King County. Whew.
Very, very strong numbers. All right, let's lose the jacket for a second. I'm getting hot. Hot.
Next up, where do you want to go?
Next, we got Snohomish.
Snohomish, there we go.
You're so funny, Dan. See, they're in order on my chart. See?
Oh.
I sent you my chart. Didn't you get it?
Well, it was in the other upload. I
sent it separately. Sorry.
No. It's okay. I should have uploaded it. I just didn't.
You didn't have to. Okay, Dan, here we go. Snohomish County. 0.6 months supply of inventory. Mr. Fat Tuesday. You're being recorded, right? Yeah? Yeah. Okay, good. Snohomish County, 0.6 months. See if that works.
That's going on to our blooper reel.
It is going on to our blooper reel, yes. So Snohomish County, 0.6 months supply of inventory. Snohomish County has 338 listings currently available on the market, and that ticked up a tad, not very much, just by a couple homes. We have, 68% of sellers set offer review dates. 60% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between March 31st and April 6th. And we've got 75% of sellers in Snohomish County getting under contract within the first 14 days if they listed their home between March 17th and March 30th. So that number is exactly the same as it was last week. So regardless of what's been going on with interest rates, it doesn't seem to have impacted the Snohomish County real estate market very much, or King County for that matter. So very interesting. Not a lot of movement there. The number of sellers setting offer review dates has ticked back a real small tad. We still got 62% of sellers setting offer review dates in Snohomish and King County. And that's appropriate because we have that many getting off market in the first 7 days. So good on you, Snohomish and King County. That's the right amount.
The right number.
Yeah, because the other ones probably shouldn't be. Right.
Right.
So, all right, let me grab a jacket. Gonna drive you crazy with the jacket changes, Dan.
No, I'm always wondering what jacket you're changing into.
Well, you know me. I'm gonna cut this up into videos, so I don't want to.
Are we going with the cream white jacket this week?
No, we've got a white one coming up. I'm thinking I'm gonna do white for Mason.
What? Well, that's good because Mason County. That's the right one because Mason County is starting to pick up.
Mason County is picking up, you guys.
Speaking of the devil, do you want to go to Mason County here?
No, I'd like to do Pierce.
Oh, Pierce. Okay, here we go.
You're making me feel like a prima donna. Never give me such a hard time, Dan. I'm going to cover up my screen here with my paper. You can't see them. Okay, Pierce County, 0.9 months supply of inventory, 742 homes on the market in Pierce County right now. 37% of sellers set offer review dates in Pierce County. Change my glasses. I can't believe I did this right in the middle. Make sure they're not crooked. All right. So we've got 56% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between between March 31st and April 6th. 60% of sellers got under contract within the first 14 days on the market in Pierce County if they listed their home between March 17th and March 30th. So again, a really solid market in Pierce County. Very solid market.
Very solid, yeah.
Yes. So you want to talk about Mason now?
I would love it. Yeah, I thought you'd never ask. I thought you would never ask. I've been waiting on Mason County, and look at these numbers for Mason County.
They're better this week. Almost all of them across the board are better. So we were kind of worried about Mason County there for a couple of weeks.
We were
falling off the edge of the cliff, but it looks like they're back. So
I remember waking up in the middle of the night thinking about Mason County, thinking, I hope those stats start perking up.
Faker. Still faking it. So Mason County, 1.5 months supply of inventory. They've got 94 homes currently in the market. Nobody set an offer review date in Mason County for good reason. But they did have, you guys, Mason County had 43% of sellers get under contract within the first 7 days on the market for those that listed between March 31st and April 6th. So good numbers, good numbers. Those likely resulted in a few multiple offer situations, quite possibly. They had 44% of sellers get under contract within the first 14 days on the market in Mason County if they listed their homes between March 17th and March 30th. So really good, strong numbers for Mason County over the past couple of weeks. So it looks like maybe they're over the hump.
Mason County last week, I'm just looking it up right now, Kat. Last week, they were 33% within the first 7 days, 32% in the first 14 days.
It's consistently getting better. The week before that, it was much worse.
That's a big jump.
Big jump. Yeah, and it was a lot worse. So even I think going back before that, they've had intermittently a few spikes in there, but overall it's been a fairly slow market. And again, I attribute that to time of year. I think it really is dependent upon, I think they do most of their business in the summer.
That makes sense. Yep.
Travelers are out traveling probably from May to October, I would guess, is when the market is the hottest out there.
Yeah.
But okay, so Skagit?
Skagit it is. Let's move on to Skagit.
Skagit County, 1.5 month supply of inventory in Skagit County. 133 listings currently on the market. Again, not new construction, not condos, not attached. These are single family detached homes. We got 16% of sellers in Skagit County that set offer review dates. 29% of sellers in Skagit County got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between March 31st and April 6th. 49% of sellers in Skagit County got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed their home between March 17th and March 30th. So again, very strong numbers for Skagit County. Very strong.
They're definitely on the up.
Hi, Kim.
On the upswing.
Hi, B-Man. Hey, guys. Talking about stats. Okay, let me grab another jacket. Yeah. You don't have anything to add, Dan?
I'm waiting for the jacket to show up.
Sorry. Okay.
Oh, look at that. We got the white jacket going on.
That's the white jacket. It's the white jacket.
All righty. Now.
All right. So should we do Kitsap?
Let's do Kitsap. Look
I'm
at
getting
this.
no
Watch
hearts
this.
today. What?
Oh, no. I thought I had it all set up. Oh, I screwed up.
have it
There
set
we
up.
are. But there's Kitsap. Oh, and does Kitsap look strong?
Kitsap's had a great market the last 2 weeks. Actually, last week, they actually beat the socks off of all the other counties, which was quite amazing for their first 7-day data. So
look at that. For the first time this year, their month supply of inventory is under 1.
Well, no, it's been 0.9.
It? Oh,
Yes,
okay. I thought it's been hovering around 1, 1, 1.
No, they've been 0.9 for a while. They came back from 1 about a month and a half ago, and they've hung right around there. I think they got to 0.8 at a certain point a couple weeks ago, and then they're back up to 0.9. But it's still a very strong market. They're getting multiple offers, lots of multiple offers over there in Kitsap County. My daughter is a realtor over there, as you know, Dan, and they've been competing. So, unfortunately for her, she's had a lot of listings, so that's been useful. We like that. So, it's a little easier in the seller's market to represent sellers. So, but yeah, Kitsap County, 0.9 month supply of inventory. 182 listings currently on the market. Again, single family detached residential.
Yep.
45% of sellers set offer review dates in Kitsap County over the past 7 days. 50% of sellers got under contract within the first 7 days on the market if they listed their home between March 31st and April 6th. 64% of sellers got under contract within the first 14 days on the market if they listed their home between March 17th and March 30th. Wow, great market in Kitsap County. Really. Those are good numbers.
It is a great market. And you know,
very strong numbers for sellers over there.
You know the bonus of buying over in Kitsap County? You get a look off to the west and see the Olympics. Oh, it's so pretty when you look out over there and you see those Olympics out there, the mountains, and you get to look at that every single day. It's just beautiful.
And all the trees. I mean, every time somebody goes over there, it's just like, oh my God, there's so many trees. You know,
and it's all the, and you get all the water there and everything. And to think, how long does it take on the ferry to get from the ferry over Kitsap to get it over to Seattle? How long does that take? About 40 minutes?
The Edmonds Kingston ferry is about 25 minutes, and then I think the Bremerton. Wow, West Seattle ferry. Is it West Seattle or down? No, it's downtown Seattle. Bremerton, downtown Seattle ferry. I don't think that's much more than that. I think it's about 30 minutes. It's very quick. Yeah, and then there's fast foot ferries as well from Kingston to Seattle, which a lot of people aren't aware of. There's also fast foot ferries from Bremerton to Seattle. So it makes living over there for someone who works in Seattle quite doable. If you can just hop on a fast foot ferry.
Well, and that's good. That's good to mention, I think, to folks that are watching us from out of the area, because we have quite a reach on this live stream. So outside of the area, if you're thinking of relocating into Seattle, it's you got to keep an open mind and take a look at some of these places that you might not think of otherwise. Anyway.
Yeah, so the Puget Sound is interesting when it comes to where you can live over here. It is less expensive to live in Kitsap County, which is where Bremerton and Kingston, Poulsbo, Silverdale are all located, right? You can even live destination living in Port Townsend. That's a little bit further. They do have ferries, but those only go to, I believe it goes to Whidbey ferry from Port Townsend. But you can, nearly live in a destination location and then commute to Seattle. So Poulsbo is really beautiful, faces west.
It is.
And, it can be a nice place to visit when you're coming from the, east side to go over there and, holiday. So it does feel a little bit like destination living if you're in a place like Poulsbo,
Kind of is.
Yeah, and there's a premium to being, close to that downtown area.
You want to talk about this stuff we were talking about before the live stream, this buy before you sell in this current market?
Yeah, can I give you a little story first before we get into it?
I love little stories. Yeah.
I want the story because it's going to tie into it, guys. So I have a client, his name is Jeff, and he I've worked with him a lot of times. I've worked with him over the years, and he's, about now back at Boeing, and he was hired to move back here from back east to go back to work at Boeing under the terms of working from home like 4 days a week. And he had several big dogs, and so he wanted to make sure he could take care of his aging dogs and still, he could still work 1 day a week, right? And so, but after he was here for about a year and he'd bought a house out of town, quite a ways out of town, too far for him. Now he feels pressured because he's had to be at the office 5 days a week now for the last year. The commute's wearing him down, and he's got to take his dogs to daycare 3 days a week so they're not cooped up in the house by themselves and being destructive. And so, it's a tough situation because he came out here and he bought this particular house for this particular job. And now that job changed, that job description changed as to where he could work from. And this is after he went to all kinds of trouble to get internet out at the house. In the middle of where he lives there's some lack of infrastructure for internet service. So anyway, so he's very disappointed that now his choices are slim, right? So he could try renting, like he's been looking at rentals. Then he'd have to sell his place, right? But he winds up renting, then he's going to get priced out of the market fairly quickly, right? With as fast as appreciation's been happening in the South Snohomish County market, he's going to get priced out very quickly. I have clients right now that got priced out in 2021. They're still trying to buy a place, and it's prices keep going up. We're not going to get a good deal anymore. It's not going to feel like a good deal to them. So I don't want him out of the market for even a year. So the other choice is, besides renting, is he could turn around and try to buy something locally, right, Dan? So he could try to buy something, less than what his current house is. And he came in with sort of a low down payment, so probably would have to be a lower value than what his current home is. But to try to find something like that in a $500,000-$600,000 price range, and be able to buy a house, not contingent.
Right.
Because he could try to sell his house, after he buys a house, but then he would be contingent. And what are the odds in this kind of a market of getting a contingent offer accepted? So this is why we're going to start talking about this stuff in a second here. So this is his option. So he has renting as an option, sell his house. Second option is try to buy another house and sell your house, buy a house contingent and then sell your house. And that's not likely to happen in this market. So what's his other option? His other option is, one, either get a straight bridge loan, and then you'd have to actually qualify for both loans, your current mortgage as well as the bridge loan, or there's this other program called, what's it called, Dan? The buy before you sell. Buy before you sell.
That's right.
So the last option is buy before you sell programs, and those come with a fee, right? That's not free. It does cost money to enact that program, but it does allow you to buy a house and close on that prior to putting your current residence on the market, so that now you can move once. And when you've got animals and you're trying to work a full-time job, that's probably the best way to go. It does cost money. It varies depending on the type of loan program or the lender that you do decide to work with, but it's not terrible. We're talking percentage points. We're not talking, 10, 20%. So
right.
Anyway,
Let me put some of this information on the screen
Yeah,
here. We're
let's
going to
do it.
walk through it because
Yeah.
so this is just from one of the lenders that we work with. There are other lenders that have programs like this, buy before you sell, but the terms are different. So, for example, with this lender, I think there's a 3-month period of time where you have to sell the house, right? They only give you 3 months. Other
3 months.
lenders might give you 12 months. So there are some differences. Terms are a little bit different. This particular lender touts, we'll go through the slides real quick, but they tout, a 0% interest rate, but you have fees that are associated with that, right? So nothing is free. Let me just put it that way. Nothing is free. But let's walk through this real quick. So the idea is, let's see here, it's roughly 56% of repeat buyers are using funds from their departing residents for their down payment. Okay, so that's a big problem right now because you need to unleash that equity to be able to put the down payment down.
Yeah,
Okay?
so almost everybody, right, Dan? I mean, over half the people need to actually access the equity in their own home in order to buy another house. So
Yes.
by necessity, have to sell your house to buy another one. That makes sense.
Yes.
Over half of the buyers are in that situation.
That's right. That's right. And so, I think the bullet points on let's see here, slide 2, but basically you don't have to worry about a contingent offer. You don't have to worry about a pending sale contingency before you submit your offer on your new home.
Yeah,
That's a
you can
big
come
deal.
in non-contingent, right, Dan?
Right.
That's kind of the beauty. It's not even subject to this successful sale, right, Dan?
Right, that's correct.
Because there's a guaranteed buyout at the end of their whatever time frame it is. It's not an attractive buyout. Don't do that. But there is a buyout at the end of the contract. And so if for some reason your house didn't sell within a specified amount of time, then you would take the penalty and it would still get sold. Right, Dan?
Right.
Yeah.
But
we rarely see that happen around here because
it's not an issue in this market.
It's not an issue in this type of a market. A slower market would be more of a concern.
That's right. In this market, that's really a non-issue unless you're just completely unreasonable for how much you're trying to sell your house for.
Or you have that inherent challenge that can prevent your home from selling relatively quickly. You might not want to utilize that type of a program unless you are going to be willing to compensate for that inherent challenge with, lowering your pricing sooner than later.
Right. So. Right. But this program is really designed for the regular old, high majority of the homes that sell, as opposed to the exceptions to the rule.
Your traditional house.
That's right. So the other huge selling point, why this, I'm just giving you my opinion, but why I would definitely, because we have bridge loans as well, just pure bridge loans, but that's really just for unlocking equity. Okay, it does not account for the debt to income ratio. And so when you're qualifying for a new mortgage, one of the big problems is with interest rates going up as much as they have in the last 2 years, your payments on the new house is a lot more than the payment on the old house. And a lot of times people can't afford to purchase a new home with a mortgage where they have to qualify debt to income wise, counting both properties. Right. Both properties, mortgages.
So it eliminates that need to qualify for both mortgages. That's the other beautiful thing about this buy before you sell type of loan, right, Dan? Is that all of a sudden you don't need to qualify to afford to be able to pay both mortgages. You just need to qualify for the new mortgage.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct.
The new big mortgage.
Yes. New great big one. Yeah.
The new great big mortgage that's going to be 6 or 7% interest. Ouch.
Yes. It's but and then the bridge loan portion is a 0% interest rate, but don't confuse that. There are some fees involved, and when you amortize it out, you just have to look at this as being the cost of the transaction.
Yeah, there's costs involved.
There are.
Don't ever believe 0% for a program. They're getting their money somehow. They're covering their costs somehow.
Correct. The fee for doing this particular loan with this particular lender, and the fees differ with different lenders, is that they collect an upfront fee from the sale of your home. and it's 2.4%. Okay. So,
And that's from the sale. So that's actually not too bad, right? That's just 2.4% from the house that you're moving from. And so that's not too
correct.
bad.
That's
So
right.
if you're selling say if you're selling a $700,000 house and that's what, 14. So what do you got? 15, 16, 17,
17, 18,000,
500, something like that.
17,000,
Yeah.
something like that.
That's your fee to do it once, right? We don't
Yep.
love that, but that's the fee.
Right.
But it
And-
lets you do that. But it allows you, one, what does that do for a buyer? Oh my gosh, in this market, I can't tell you. Because if you're trying to come in contingent, I don't even know how that would work. So one, it allows you to actually make a legitimate offer on a house and get under contract. So is that worth the 17,000, 18,000? If you need a place to live and you don't want to try to buy contingent because that probably isn't going to work in our market, and it allows you to move, yeah, I'd say all day long that $17,000, $18,000 is probably going to be worth it. And we're talking about the $600,000-$700,000 price range here, which is a little on the low end for South Snohomish County, but it is doable still.
Right.
Really.
Right. It's no, and the thing is, boy, in a market like ours, some of these things that you normally wouldn't consider, you kind of have to consider at this point.
Yep.
And part of that is, as you say, it's just the cost of getting in the market. Just like if you're offering $50,000 or $75,000 over asking price. That's right, because you love the property so much, and there's nothing really out there else, and you can afford it because you got plenty of stock. You pull the trigger and you go into it, knowing that you're probably paying more than you could be, but you really like the house, right? So,
and it offers you the availability to actually buy that house, right? So
that's right.
There's not very many ways to win in multiple offer situations. It usually comes right down to money and contingencies. And if you're lucky enough all you have to do is offer a little more money, then you're one of the lucky few.
Yes, that's right.
And if and if part of you doing business and you getting a new house involves you paying one of these buy first, sell later programs, 2 or 3% of the sales price of your original residence, then it's could be considered a small price to pay for the ability to actually move. Because otherwise you're left with the option of selling your house first, moving you and your stuff somewhere. Your stuff could be separated from you, and you could be in a hotel or an Airbnb for months. And so, or you can do this, buy first and then sell later program and spend a couple percent, which is going to save you a lot of headache. And none of us love it, you guys, but it's a necessary evil in a lot of cases right now. And it's not necessarily a bad idea because it can allow you to actually make an offer on a house, not contingent, right? And so that everything right now, it allows you to make choices. What home do you want to buy? You're coming in non-contingent. You actually have an opportunity. If you have to sell your home before you buy, then that doesn't give you that opportunity. You're just going to be stuck unless you got really lucky that you got a seller that would allow you to do that.
Yep. So they've got a little graphic here of a sample transaction, just kind of what it looks like. Mm-hmm. You go through a process where they take a look at your departing residence, what they expect it to sell for, what the mortgage balance is, and then they unlock a percentage of the equity. It's about 75%. They take 75% of the sales price, basically. So you have a loan payoff value of $375, mortgage balance of $250. So you got $125,000 that you can take and apply towards the down payment on the new house. Okay. So you've got that going for you. And again, step 2, you can shop contingency free. As we're saying, you don't have to worry about a contingency, which if you're shopping, if you have to have a contingency in the offer, well, you know better than me. You're going to be a professional offer writer and not a professional closer.
Well, there are certain times in the market when we can get contingent offers, and we're talking about contingent offers, you guys. We're not talking about contingent on an inspection or contingent on financing. We're talking about contingent on another home sale and actually getting that house on the market and getting it sold. That's a contingent offer. So, if you already have your house under contract, that would be considered subject to in Washington state, subject to the successful closing. That's different. We can totally get sellers on board with accepting offers like that. But that would mean you'd have to get your house under contract first and then go house hunting and hope and pray that you're going to be able to find something that you can negotiate and move into by the time yours closes. So, one of the other things you can do as a seller is you can negotiate a rent back after closing. But because we're not in that kind of a frenzied market, buyers are kind of giving pushback on that idea. So, and it's going to cost you a lot of money if you do that. Not every buyer is going to be okay with paying for a payment one full month while you're still there. Most buyers are not okay with that situation. And as a realtor, I'm not either. So I don't like my sellers staying after closing, and I don't like my buyers allowing that to happen. I think it's a bad idea. I will tell you that my buyers that have done it hated it. Right. Hated it, were very disappointed in the process. They felt very alienated from the house they were purchasing. And they'd spent all this energy and effort into buying a home, and all of a sudden they were just felt empty, and they were not happy, even though, you counsel them and you do everything you can. It's, in the end, they were extremely happy, but the transition was very tough. And so I don't like to put my buyers through that. And I prefer the seller move out when it closes, certainly within a couple of days. So, but that's, those are some other options though, right?
Right. And then just real quick on step 3 that they have in this little sample transaction, you close on the new home. You've got, in this example, you got a $600,000 purchase. You've got the $125,000 you picked up from step 1, pulling that equity out. You put it down. You have a $475,000 mortgage. However, remember, they're only counting 75% in step 1. Once once the new home sells, you'll get the other 25%. And you can recast that to reduce your new mortgage payment, right? So once you get that other 25% in, you do with it what you want, but most folks just apply it towards their new mortgage. So they've got a full, let's just say it's another $125,000 that they would have coming from the sale of their home. So now you've got a recast mortgage. In this step, it says 475, but you'd bring it down by another 125 because you're applying the equity unlock towards the new mortgage, recasting the loan so you get a lower payment, which is a nice feature.
So the end result of recasting your loan with that, applying that extra $125,000 towards your mortgage reduces your payment significantly, and that's what this whole thing we've been talking about. So that you sell your your original residence after you close on the sale of, or after you close on your purchase. And then you take the extra proceeds from that and apply that towards your new loan, towards the balance on your new loan to reduce those payments. And so a lot of people do that. So that's a nice option.
The last step is just listing the home. And I think it's really important that people don't realize how important this step is. But listing your home and be able to properly and completely get it ready for sale. Right. And
as being an advantage to doing it this way, right, Dan? So
that's right. I mean,
because now you're moved out. Now you're already moved out. You're in your new house. Now you can get your original residence ready for sale.
That's right. And as we've talked about, your 11 steps to selling the house. That's not a small thing. You can't rush that process.
That's right.
You can't skip steps and things like that. And so this really gives you the luxury of being able to sell the house to your departing residents at full value, which is important. And it's probably worth a lot more than 2.4%, because if you take a look at the time is money charts that we produce, or that you've produced and we presented here on the show, the time is money thing. Basically what you're talking about is going from, if you're going from the first 7-day bucket, but you're rushing the sale, and now you're going to the 14-day bucket, let's say, or over 14 days into the 30-day bucket. I mean, you're talking about 5%, 7%, 8%
Yeah. And so
that
what
you're
you're
going to.
talking about is that a mistake that sellers make sometimes, like, they've already moved out of the original residence. Now this process of buy before you sell will allow the seller to actually take the appropriate amount of time and spend the money necessary to get the home ready properly, so that they don't miss that 0 to 7 days or 0 to 14 days, because those are very important timelines when it comes to how much market time costs a seller, when their house languishes on the market for more than 7 or 14 days. Those numbers are dramatic.
That's right.
I think the first week in Snohomish County was at 5.7%. I feel like it was.
Yes, it was
It was
5.7%.
it was significant.
Yeah.
And anyway, but it's, within a couple of weeks, it's always very significant. And that 5% on $1 million house is a heck of a lot of money, you guys. So, we don't want you to be making that mistake. This program allows you to take the time, and, and it gives you more time. If you want to do some more of the work yourself and you don't want to hire it out and you need an extra couple of weeks or a month to take the weekends and do the interior painting, it'll buy you that time. And that can save you a lot of money on a painter as well. So, but, in the long run, it really comes down to, you have to get the house ready for market appropriately for the market you're in.
That's right.
And then you'll save yourself lots of money down the road in losses because you stayed on the market too long. Because market time really does cost you money. Buyers start seeing that over 14 days on the market, and they start thinking something's wrong with the house. So, and I have buyers do that, and I'm like, let's just take a look at it, Maybe they just didn't get showings for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
So the process is fantastic on this loan. So you've got a 24-hour full approval. The lender gets back to it really quick. They get the process started immediately. They've done a lot of these loans.
Who's the lender on this one, Dan?
This one's called the Loan Store.
The Loan Store. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you have access to this program, don't you?
I sure do.
Dan Mellis. Do you want to buy before you sell? He's got the loan program for you.
But the other lenders that we have, several lenders that have this program. One of them's come from American Home Lending, American Heritage Lending.
Sorry, I had to interrupt you, Dan.
That's okay. And they've got,
go ahead.
We may use this particular lender, but we may not. Because we'll take a look at some of the benefits. I'm not going to do it today with our audience, but we do take a look at the benefits of looking at different lenders and see which one's the best scenario. Because sometimes you need more than 3 months to move out of your house, right? Sometimes somebody wants to stay in their house for a while, until the real estate business is a kooky business sometimes, right? Real kooky.
And moving is complicated. So some of these programs only offer, I'm just going to reiterate what Dan just said, because some of you can't see his charts. So some of these companies will offer you only 3 months. That's not very much time. Some of the other ones will offer 6 or 12 months. And so sometimes it could be worth an extra few $1,000s to go ahead and opt with the company that will give you more time to get your original home sold. So, but these are programs that Dan has access to. I just want to emphasize that, Dan. This is a great program, I think, for the right person.
Yeah, it's very popular. It's a very popular program. I'll move over to next slide up. But there are some property requirements, real quick. They're pretty, simple stuff.
Yeah, let's go over the requirements for the property, because they won't do it for just any. And this is the Loan Store one. This is the Loan Store.
Right, that's correct. So, basically what they're looking for are homes that are in suburban areas, right? They're not looking for off the grid homes. Okay. So let's go over the requirements real quick. The home, they'll serve a home that's up to a value of $2.5 million. So that's pretty good size.
Okay. Yeah.
Square feet has to be at least 750 square feet. Okay. Has to have at least 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom. Okay,
that seems pretty basic, Dan.
Pretty basic so far. Any lien on the home has on the home from a solar financing or leasing. You know how they have those riders sometimes on the solar panels that you put on the roof and all that kind of stuff. Has to be paid off ahead of time if they happen to have that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What else do we have? Oh, any lien on the home from solar financing lease must be fully paid. So the solar lease does not need to be fully paid off, but needs to be accounted for in the payoff in the economic model. Okay, can't be not occupied by the tenants during or after the purchase, right? So after they buy the new home, they got to move out and they got to move into the new home. They can't be.
Oh, right. They can't, right. So like, no, somebody can't be trying to buy an investment property and hang on to their original residence. That would be fraud.
Right. So they can't do that. And so no leaseholds, no outstanding life estates, trusts need to have approval. So all these are kind of the weird stuff that happens sometimes but for the normal folks, this stuff doesn't apply. On the incoming residents, okay, this is a straight conventional loan. That's how they're approving it, as a conventional loan.
Right. So it's just no VA or FHA financing on incoming residents. So you can't use VA or FHA for your new loan.
Correct.
Okay.
And let's see here. If the departing residence or incoming residence is a second home or an investment property, the transaction is not eligible. That's correct. It's just the primary residence.
Your primary residence, yeah.
Primary residence, owner occupied, straight up. And then the property itself, again, they'll look at single family homes, townhomes, or condominiums.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It has to be less than 5 acres. Okay, that's reasonable. Must have access to public roads or utilities. Okay.
That makes sense. I mean, it's good to have public utilities, guys, and a road to get to your house. That's awesome.
Yeah. So far, we don't really have that many deal breakers in here, but okay. Must be zoned as residential. So if you're zoned as agricultural, sorry, can't help you there. Not in an age-restricted community, so 55 and up, can't do it.
Okay.
It's not a short sale or pre-foreclosure. Okay. Not subject to any leases, oil and gas, mineral rights, stuff like that. No. Okay. So that's, we're talking about so many exceptions here. And that's what you're really looking at. Just all exceptions. Departing residents can't be a part of a active new construction community. Okay. Incoming residents must have a certificate of occupancy if it's a new construction. So if they're buying new construction, for example,
it has to have a C of O anyway.
Yes. So, there's nothing weird about that. And then you've got no active foreclosures or bankruptcies. Okay. Makes sense. And then finally, we're looking at repairs and renovations. You can't have any ongoing renovations affecting the bathroom, kitchen, dryer. They want everything finished on the departing residents, right? I mean, they just it has to be ready to sell, basically. Okay. No major defects in the foundation or the roof or plumbing or anything. I mean, the house has to be pretty much ready to sell, but you have to, maybe you need to spruce it up. Maybe you need a black front door. That's possible. Maybe you don't have the
door handle and not a round doorknob, guys. Right, a regular handle with a lever. That would be the preference.
And then maybe you need modern flooring. Stuff like that. They understand. They get it. But if you have major defects like in the foundation or the roof or something like that, nope.
Then you're not going to qualify. Yes, the property won't qualify. But that encompasses probably 85 to 90% of homes, or 70, something like that. At least it's going to include most people, I would assume. So not a tough program to qualify for is kind of the point here, guys. So this, what's it called again?
The loan program. Buy now, sell later. Buy before you sell.
Buy before you sell is the name of the loan program that Dan and I are talking about here. And it allows you to buy a house non-contingent prior to selling your existing residence. And so that gives you power when you go in to make an offer to come in non-contingent. And so you can at least buy a house that you want to buy, provided you may have to compete in this market. But it still gives you a lot more options than if you were trying to purchase contingent. I
That's
think the
right.
struggle here, and this is why I'm thinking about this right now, the struggle here is that I have a client who's works for Boeing who bought a house about 30 miles out of town, but the commute is really egregious. And he was told when he went to work that he was going to get to be able to work from home 4 days a week. And so he really worked diligently with the local infrastructure to try to get appropriate internet access for streaming and things. And he managed to get that done. And then a year and a half later, he finds himself back at the office 5 days a week, but he has a dog that he's trying to take care of. And he doesn't like commuting like that. Like, that's why he took the job, is he wasn't going to have to commute. And so we're trying to figure out, how are we going to get him into a place closer, within his financial means, and then also get his house sold. So that's why we're having this conversation today, because I have a need today. I have a client who has a need. So,
Well, it's a good option. Not the only option, but a good option.
Buy before you sell allows you to qualify for just the new mortgage financially, not including the old mortgage. That's why this is so cool, right, Dan? That's what makes this program so amazing.
That's right. I mean,
not to mention that you can come in non-contingent with your offer, and so you are able to compete. So those are two very, very important distinctions between a regular bridge loan and trying to come in contingent. Well, two other ways to do the same thing.
The way I look at it personally is the regular bridge loan that we talk about does half the job, and the least important half. I hate to put it that way, but the half of the job that a bridge loan does is the down payment money, right? Unlocks the equity in the down payment money, right?
Yes.
But with today's mortgages, the down payment's really not the biggest part of the issue, to be honest with you. It's the debt to income ratios that are the biggest part of the issue.
Right. Yeah.
Because most people can come up with 3.5% down to buy a house. So it's not the down payment, it's the DTI. And that's where this allows you to get into the house. And that's the importance there.
Right. So, and when he's talking about DTI, the debt to income ratio, he's talking about having to qualify for like a regular bridge loan with your existing mortgage, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So you have your current.
So this buy before you sell program allows you to bypass all of that. You don't have to qualify for the bridge loan. You just qualify for the new home that you're buying, the financing for the new home you're buying. And that's the beauty about this whole thing, is it allows. Oh no, I got to do a puzzle piece. You guys ever have that happen to me? Whoops, unable to verify. I got to do it again. Moved my finger. Hold on. Okay, I got verified. Okay. Anyway, so this whole thing, I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to do this with my client, right? And I think this buy before you sell program could be the ticket. And I really wanted to refresh my memory on how that worked, Dan. And I appreciate you talking about that today on the live. I really do.
Happy to do so. It's
I think
it's a good program.
And it's a great topic for right now, because a lot of sellers are getting under contract within the first 7 days, and actually within the first 14 days. 3/4 of sellers are under contract within the first 14 days. So someone who's trying to come in contingent is not likely going to get their offer accepted. Right. I mean, we've got 60% of houses going under contract over asking price. Okay, guys? So we got 60% of buyers that are paying more than asking price for their house. We have 30-something% paying 10% or more. So think about that. So I think, as someone who needs to sell their house as well as purchase a new home, they need that extra benefit of not having to worry about, are they coming in contingent or not, because that will kill them, right? When you can't compete when you're contingent on getting your home sold. You just can't. So I think this is a win for my client. I really do.
No, I agree with you. Every situation is a little bit different, but this is a program that really can help.
It solves the problems.
Solve the problem.
It solves the problems. Yep, it's going to cost you money, but it solves the problems. The problems go away. Yep, you have to work within a time frame. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Misty. Sorry, people join. I'm like, I know these people, I think. So,
hello, Amanda and Misty.
There's Dan. Dan saying hi. I think right now, this is the perfect situation where I would say to a client, I think you should look at this loan program. I don't love it because it does cost more money, costs several percentage points more. But the thing of it is, it allows him to move. He doesn't want to do the commute. He does not want to do, he's looking at rental houses. I could feel the desperation. And, some people don't want to spend half their work week or a quarter of their work week in their car. And he's one of them. And I don't blame him. So I think this is a good solution. I hope we can make it work for him.
Well, we could certainly, we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah.
And hopefully we do find a solution for him because.
Yeah, I can have him call you. Actually, now that I think about it.
Hang on, let me check. Yes, I have made my T-Mobile payment. My phone is still good.
Jesus, Dan. What are we going to do with you, Dan?
I don't know. Keep me off the dole.
Hi, Wagner. What's Wagner says hi? Oh, Wagar. No, I don't know how to pronounce that name. Wagar? Do you have any kind of work for me? Well, if you're a window washer, you're a handyman, you can paint. Realtors always have work for you. So let's see. Who else? Let's see. I didn't get all my questions today. I think I had some questions come in and I missed them. I see Amanda's been here for a while. Somebody wanted me to enjoy and invite Milkman. I don't know, you guys. It's risky to invite people on your live, and I'll tell you why. Leslie Lee? No, Leslie Realtor. Oh, I don't know if that's Leslie Lee, but anyway, it's risky to invite people on your live because you don't know what they're going to say. And if they say something wrong, you can get banned. So that's why I don't let people do that on my lives.
You've got enough risk in your life right now just having me host this thing. You don't need any more.
I feel like I'm taking a lot of risk, just co-hosting this with Dan. We don't need to add another factor here. I mean, I'm risky as it is. Who knows what comes out of my mouth? Dan knows. He's seen stuff fly out of there. I didn't mean it to come out that way. And I'm trying to walk that shit back. Oh, boy. If I didn't have good makeup on, you'd see how red I was at certain times. Take that makeup on. And then you have a little blur on TikTok. You do a little correction. I took my correction down to 27 last time. I didn't like the way I looked, so I boosted it back up to 32. And that's on a scale of 100, guys. I think if you're down in the low 30s, I think you're good. At least I'm not looking like a cartoon character, right? Oh my God, somebody like that. Thank you guys for taking my sense of humor. Anyway, that's real, man. You want to talk about authentic? That's real shit. There's wrinkles on their face. It's very distracting if you're me.
well, I know on my face, I go to myself, oh, this was this loan. And this wrinkle came from this loan.
Yes.
So, oh gosh. Well, you know what, Kat? It's been a wonderful hour and 7 minutes. It's been fantastic.
I'm ready for a glass of red wine.
I'm you know where I'm ready to go?
You're hungry. You're gonna go to Dino's.
I'm going to Dino's. We're gonna have a little
going to Dino's.
A little something to eat. A little dinner.
I think I better get my little buddy, Mr. Fat Tuesday, something to eat. He's being awfully quiet over there. He got quiet after I barked at him. Poor little guy. He's like, what the heck was that? There's no other dogs in the house. And he was quiet after that. I'll have to try that again. He's always like the background noise in my lives. Oh my God, Dan.
Oh,
all
gosh,
right.
Kat.
Should we call it good, you guys?
Well, it's been fun.
Yeah, let me see if anybody else has got any questions. Let me scroll to my end here. Let's see here. Oh, Amanda. Amanda goes, no judgment here. She's drink the red wine on the live, LOL.
Well, we've had chats about that.
To get in trouble here, guys. I don't know what you can do, what you can't do on these damn things.
Oh, gosh.
All right. Well, love you guys. Signing off on TikTok. See you next Monday, right? Monday, 4:30. Bye. Thank you for the hearts.
All
oh my God, I'm getting all
righty,
these
folks,
hearts.
on
I don't want to sign off.
Facebook and YouTube, we are
So many